overuse, arms, baseball. You worry about those things as kids are growing. The messaging that our parents are getting from that as well is like, my child has to do this from this time on in order to now be successful. And what does that cost? Yeah, I'm Brendan Netherton. I'm in my 18th year of education, and through that time I've been either a coach at the high school level or an athletic director, which I am now. I'm the athletic director at George Washington High School in Denver, Colorado. And this is like my 10th year of being an AD from a middle school or high school perspective. I would say with youth sports, two things come to mind is access, so affordability, and things are just increasing with cost in kids and even my own kids. The other concern is probably just the overuse of your physical body. Little kids doing the same thing over and over and over and over and over. Yes, you get better at different things when you practice and play in them, but I'm in a belief that we want to give rest too. I think what I've seen is kind of in the beginning of the year they seem fine, and then as the year goes on, injuries or exhaustion or just engagement issues of like, man, I'm ready to kind of like get a break. Gets away from them, and I see it all the time. I hear the stories all the time. Hey, I enjoy it, I just don't want to do it anymore. And these are like 14-year-old kids coming to high school. I mean, I've had kids walk the hallway here that are some top soccer players in the country that don't even play soccer anymore. They're just like, hey, I'm just kind of done, and so that's sad. I think that's going on, and I would say to combat that, I mean, as another piece is like, what are we doing to our youth? Why are we using sports? Why? And so I think that's what I'd ask maybe the parents, like, why are you having them in this? And then two, have we ever asked a kid what they wanted? And I've also seen just the specialization of sporting. So less and less kids are getting active in other sports. So even at our level, they just play baseball or they just play basketball. So we used to have a lot of multi-sport athletes, and now that's kind of going down. But right now, I think the mindset is, this is what I have to do to get to point A to point B. But then education on the health part too, I think that's huge. I think we're missing that a little bit of, you got to have a rest. At some point, even if it's cross-training, like I said earlier, where you're doing something different for your body, go run track, go, do something, just something different, so you can, even mentally. I mean, we get kids that come back and they've been on a circuit and their engagement is so, they're exhausted, and these are 16, 17-year-old kids. But here at George Washington High School, we're educationally based. And so we're not really concerned about a financial gain. Other flip side of that, even with my own kid, you're paying for those things, and there's a fee, and so that's going to hinder a lot of access for especially kids in our area, or inner city, or even rural sometimes areas. If you don't have the money anymore, you're not going to be on that ice, you're not going to be on that court, you're not going to be on that field. And if you don't pay your fee and your travel fees and all that, you're not going to be able to do those things. But here on the opposite end, when we say educationally based, we're just trying to develop a human and try to provide a space to say, hey, how are you making you a better person? When you start putting money to things, you're going to leave out a whole bunch of great young individuals and talented individuals that just go, oh, and parents go, like, I can't do that for you, and then so you got to find something else to do. I feel like that's where we're going right now, and that's probably the biggest hit.